That's great too, because this class, it doubles. It's a class to teach you how to listen to music. It's also a class to introduce you to the snobby culture that music is. And part of that is speaking English. You're an American, you only know one language, you didn't have to learn any other languages in school, because we just don't do that. And even still, you're using a word that's been adopted from another language, and we say it in English now with an English accent. You gotta say that word in the original language's accent. Why? Because it calls attention to your snobbery. That's why, of course. Nobody uses "huh" in English. We just don't do that. But we're gonna use it for genre because we are snobs now. So be sure to do that. Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the reaction log. Whoa. Alright, we're continuing this lecture series on how to listen to music for dummies and idiots. That's you watching right now. You know, I don't want to admit that I've been learning stuff from this, but it is kind of nice to just see a class like this taught, and to see how it would be taught. So, you know, I feel like I'm gaining from it. Hopefully you are too. We left off, we almost completed the first chapter. You can just go watch the rest of it on your own if you want. We're just gonna move on. This is still an introductory part of the lecture series, an introduction to instruments and musical genres. Whoa, it's gonna be hard. But I think it's important that we thoroughly cover this one, and, you know, there's always another video to be made. So that's what we're doing here. What am I? I'm a classical guitarist. That means that I am super cool. That's what that means. Are you super cool? If you're a classical guitarist, then you are. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into this, see what we're getting into.
Good morning. Over the weekend you were assigned material from chapter 1 of the text, and it dealt really with 3 famous beginnings of pieces of classical music.
Most of you have probably done the listening inadvertently already. I believe the listening is Strauss's, I forget the name of it, but the one in 2001 Space Odyssey. Beethoven's Fifth, I think, and then I forget what the next one was.
Tell me at the outset, what were those 3 famous pieces?
Dude, if I were in this class, I would not have done that listening too, I bet. Because you never appreciate classes when you're in them. It's always after the class is over, you're just like, man, I should have tried harder. This is so real, being asked if you did your homework.
Young lady down here.
Nerd.
Okay, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. What was the second one? Piano Concerto Number 1 of Tchaikovsky.
Oh, Tchaikovsky, Piano Concerto Number 1. Who doesn't know that one?
Yeah, this piece by Richard Strauss with this funny-sounding German name. We'll just call it Zarathustra, this prophet Zarathustra.
I'm sure you guys have listened to the music. Feel free to go and listen to it now. Thank God it's just introductions.
Those were the 3 pieces, had to do with musical genre that we're going to talk a little bit more about in a moment, and the instruments. And you went ahead and worked with listening exercises 9 through 11 to engage the musical instruments a bit in those particular exercises, and we have performers here today that are going to, as you can see, demonstrate some of these instruments for us.
Wonderful.
Let's make one point very clear at the outset. Oftentimes I get student papers that refer to Beethoven's Fifth Song or Tchaikovsky's First Piano Song.
Freaking Gen Z. They don't know anything. Song.
What do you have to make something a song? Lyrics. You got to have a text.
I also feel song is very much tied to genre. Like any band that exists, if they make a song that has no lyrics, just an instrumental something, it's still a song. It's not like a piece or anything. So I think when it's written matters a lot. If it's written with muse score, with sheet music, that's a piece. You have no business calling that a song.
In 80% of classical music, we don't have lyrics. We don't have a text. Well, yes, with opera, of course, but the other 80%.
Yeah, who cares about that though, right?
Is purely instrumental music. It works its magic again through purely instrumental means. So we can't really call those songs. And this puzzled me. But one day I was sitting there at iTunes and I wanted to buy an interior movement
just at iTunes. I was at the iTunes store picking out some music.
Of a Mozart serenade.
What are you, like Mr. Moneybags? You're buying classical music that's like in the public domain. Why would you do that? What? YouTube existed. I know this was posted about 10 years ago. YouTube existed then. All that stuff was on YouTube. I wouldn't do it personally. That's crazy, man.
So I was all set to purchase this, and it said, buy song. Boom. That told me the answer. That's where this terminology comes into play. Because on iTunes, we buy song. It could be purely instrumental, but it's called buy a song. But we don't want to use that sort of parlance. We want to be a bit more sophisticated than that.
Yeah, we want to be a bit more snobby about it. It's not a song. It's a song. Never call it such a thing. It's a piece.
And use other terms. So we'll talk generally about Beethoven's composition or Beethoven's piece
Heck yeah, dude. Composition. It flows too, saying that. That's nice.
Beethoven's work, or his masterwork, or chef d'oeuvre.
Oh, your masterwork. You can almost use that one sarcastically. You have a composer friend, they want you to listen to something. Oh, let me listen to your masterwork. Let's hear it, buddy. Let's hear what the master sounds like.
Fancy you want to get with it. We could also go on and be a little more precise and say it belongs to a particular genre. We could use the name of a genre. I'll be talking a lot about genre in this course.
Oh, genre. Genre, it's a French word. That's great too, because this class, it doubles. It's a class to teach you how to listen to music. It's also a class to introduce you to the snobby culture that music is. And part of that is speaking English. You're an American. You only know one language. You didn't have to learn any other languages in school, because we just don't do that. And even still, you're using a word that's been adopted from another language, and we say it in English now with an English accent. You gotta say that word in the original language's accent. Why? Because it calls attention to your snobbery. That's why, of course. Nobody uses in English. We just don't do that. But we're gonna use it for genre because we are snobs now. So be sure to do that. You guys hate it when I say Bach? Listen to everything else I say, and I feel like it's a little jarring when I go blah blah blah. I'm talking in my American accent and I'm gonna go listen to Bach. Yeah, that music's of my favorite genre. I'm just saying it sounds like you're trying a little hard when you do that. Alright, there we go.
It's simply a fancy word for type or kind.
It's not usually a fancy word. I feel like genre is a very known word that everybody understands and uses. It's only fancy when you say it like that.
By Beethoven? Well, it's a symphony. Symphonies have 4 movements.
All right, listen up. This is important.
Movements. What's a movement? Well, a movement is simply an independent piece that works oftentimes, if there are multiple movements in a symphony or concerto, works with other movements.
Yeah, it's like 2 consecutive pieces, right? It's like when you listen to your blues album and one song goes to the next song. That's kind of like a movement right there.
Independent, yet they are
trying to speak in your language.
Complementary. Think of, for example, a sculpture garden. You might have 4 independent sculptures in there, but they relate one to another.
Yeah, sculpture garden. Think of more examples. Think about how when there's like more than one cloud in the sky, and it's kind of nice that there's more than one cloud, and it's like, those look nice together. That's my... Do you guys like that one? I just thought of that, believe it or not. Wow.
Symphonies have these 4 movements, and they usually operate in the following way. A fast opening movement, a slower, more lyrical second movement, then a third movement that's derived from the dance, and then a fourth movement that's sort of, again, up-tempo, fast, emphatic conclusion.
Write that down. That's important to know, actually. You're learning stuff. I bet you didn't know that. And even if you did know it, I bet you wouldn't have articulated it so well. So remember that when you're listening to symphonies. Boom, education done.
Let's see how these play out by means of a quick review of Beethoven's 5th Symphony. So all we're going to do here,
dude.
Linda, is going to go from the beginning of the track for the first movement to the second movement.
You can call it tracks, too. Dude, that Beethoven track was fire. When that track dropped.
So on. Well, let's just start here. Let's just, by way of refreshing our memory, the beginning of Beethoven's 5th Symphony.
Crank that up.
Pause it there, and as we said...
Oh man, it's rough interrupting Beethoven. Beethoven says so much more than any one person could say with their words. Following it up, it sounds like I'm listening to a mouse.
Last time, it operates...
Little like, there's a little rest in between. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da.
And that beginning gives us a good opportunity to make a distinction between 2 types of melody, between this idea of a motive and a theme. Both are sort of subsets of melody, if you will. Ba, 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 short, 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 long. Okay, so that's a classic example of a motive. A motive is just a little cell, a germ, out of which the composer will build other musical material. Now let's contrast that with what happens in the second movement of Beethoven's 5th Symphony, where we have a lyrical, long-flowing theme, okay?
All right, there we go.
So that went on, if we heard the whole thing, it actually goes on for 32 notes as opposed to just 4. So motive versus longer theme.
So we've learned the difference between a motive and a theme. A motive or a motif, I think they're the same thing, right? They're usually shorter, they're repeated, moved around a lot through the scale or transposed. Kind of similar to a subject in a fugue, like da 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 do dee. And the fugue is just making more of those and harmonizing them. And then a theme is a longer melody that isn't just the same da 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 moved around a bunch of places, but it changes. All right. Where's my coffee? I feel like we're pretty clear with that. Let's move on.
On to the third movement. We said the third movement was dance-derived, but in this case with Beethoven, it's a very strange dance. If it is dance-derived, it's just a little bit different than most of these third movements, but let's listen to it anyway.
We'll give it a chance regardless.
Because I'd like you to, when the brasses come in, think about what you're hearing and think about that vis-a-vis the first movement. So let's hear the third movement now.
Mm-hmm. Dude, Linda was on it that time. She came right up with that music. I think you forgot. You're just gonna let it play. Yeah. I wonder how many of you are going to listen to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony after this. I think I might. Third movement's pretty swanky, isn't it? I like that.
This came in. How did that relate to the first movement? 4 notes. Something as simple as that. Da da dee 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 dee. Same rhythmic idea. So that's the use of a motive there, and that's how these movements are tied together a little bit. Let's go on to the finale. And as we listen to the finale, let's think about what we heard at the very beginning and talked about last time. About the mood that the beginning of the Fifth Symphony created for it. We had these adjectives up here: negative, anxious, unsettled. Well, how do we feel now about the finale, and why? You can just turn the volume down a little bit as we go down.
You need to get your ducks in a row, Linda.
So why do we feel differently about that? I think we do. What do we feel there? Well,
what do we feel about this chat? Chat, help. How do we feel about this?
Positive. What's turned all of this around? What specific? Well, with the first movement, we said he's generally going in that kind of idea, but now it's, and we'll explore this when we get to harmony, this idea of major and minor. So we're going, but now, so that's a change from the dark minor to the brighter major. We were going down in the first movement, now we're going, it's going up, and instead of having just the violins playing, we have the trumpets, the heroic trumpets. So it sounds very triumphant, very triumphant. So in this
trumpet. Triumphant. There we go.
40-minute interval, we've gone sort of through an emotional musical journey here, from despair, despondency, uncertainty to whatever.
Whoa, that's actually, I just had a crazy like THC thought there. What came first, the instrument itself and its name, or the heroic sort of associations that we have with the instrument? Because the trumpet is a triumphant instrument, it is. If you had to pick one to represent royalty or regalness, it would be the trumpet, absolutely. And the word trump, and I'm not speaking politically here, I mean just to trump someone. What's the deal with that? Whoa, pretty crazy, right? What came first? I don't know, just thinking about that. Aren't you glad you have my commentary alongside this? Hopefully this kind of shows you what goes into writing a symphony, because if you don't think about this stuff, it can sound kind of random and just overly complicated. And so it's kind of cool, because when you're writing music, that's a way that you can have your music be like cohesive, you know, because you just have a few ideas and you're switching between them and playing them in different ways. Listen to motifs, listen for the themes, and listen how they change.
That's the end of the discussion of genre. Let's go on now to talk about instruments and how instruments produce sound.
Yay, this will be fun.
Ava Heater, come on up. This is my friend, longtime colleague, music librarian extraordinaire and professional French horn player, Ava Heater.
Wow, they sound like a cool person, wow. You know I'm kidding. We're all nerds here. It's okay. I'm joking. Lighten up, guys. Sorans is so mean. He's mean to everyone. Yeah, I might as well be saying all this about myself, too.
Demonstrate here. Come on over here right in the center. Gene Kimball is in the basement somewhere recording.
Yeah.
All this. Oh, yes. Very exciting.
Oh, yeah. You're being recorded. Don't mess up.
What a time to be alive, huh? Yeah. So Ava is going to just demonstrate the physical process of playing the French horn.
God, look at that abomination of an instrument. Jeez, it looks like gore. It looks like guts are spilled out.
The horn obviously is a brass instrument, and what makes the sound is a vibrating column of air.
No, what makes the sound is you blowing into it. Duh. All right.
The column of air is 12.5 feet long, and there's something called partials, or the harmonic series that happens.
Dude, heck yeah. I love an instrument example where you have to start talking about the harmonic series immediately. That's how you know that this instrument is an effing nightmare to play.
In anything, on a string instrument or whatever, but on the horn, it's very distinct, and that's what makes the different notes. Let me demonstrate to you the harmonic series.
Don't mess up.
That was just the notes that are naturally on the 12.5-foot length of vibrating air. That's the harmonic series that's on that.
Sweet. All right.
And what the valves do is they shorten and lengthen that vibrating column of air, very much like a cello string on a fingerboard. You know, the cellist is always shortening and lengthening the strings. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it with a series of switches instead of a fingerboard, which we obviously don't have.
Wow. So, just in case you didn't catch that, however long the column is in that French horn, just naturally without pressing any of the valves, she has access to the notes by flipping through the harmonics from the fundamental, which is just the 12.5-foot length that it is, just fully extended. So she only has the notes of the fundamental and all of its partials, like up to a certain point, I guess. So to play scales, you have to change the length and change which partial you're hitting to give a consistent, just ascending or descending scale. You are so far removed from the music you're hearing versus what needs to be done to actually play it. What can you even think about at that point? Playing that instrument sounds like a nightmare. It sounds awful. Even on the guitar, it's annoying that we have to memorize these little like pattern sequences that aren't music, right? It's just guitar patterns. But French horn patterns, oh my god. Like all these things you have to remember that have nothing to do with hearing and playing music. It sounds horrible. Play guitar. Maybe I should demonstrate this on a guitar. Imagine if this is the 12.5-foot tube. So you get that note, of course, and then you get all the harmonics too. So like this note, this note, this note, this note, this note, this note. You know, all the way until you can't hear it anymore. So you get... It's a pretty high note. So with just our low E string, I'm getting like up to there, which is a G sharp more than 3 octaves above the fundamental. So with that low fundamental, you can get pretty high notes, and it goes higher than that too. But of course it gets harder to hit them. The same on guitar, same on French horn. The further from the fundamental you go, the further down the harmonic series you go. But it's as if she has just a bunch of open strings, and she has to just play scales like Marson, basically. You can only play a pentatonic scale like that. It's just so far removed from the music. I'm so glad I play strings. I'm so glad about that. Sorry if you play horn. I don't know. I've learned flute, and I like kind of understand how saxophone works. That at least makes sense. But man, these freaking like trumpet, French horn, I don't know how you guys do it.
Okay, now Ava has another gig out in Guilford this morning, so she's going to run off. And I'm going to show you, maybe, if we can get our slides up, this overtone series stuff. Okay?
It's a mathematical thing, too. It's all math.
I hope I've got it on the slide.
Dude, it's like it's a conspiracy or something. Ushered off. It's a mathematical thing. They're lying to us. They're lying. Get out of here, Ava. Don't tell any more secrets.
The way we differentiate between instruments. Anybody tell me this? You tell me this. It's always better when students answer. Why does a trumpet, if I ask a trumpet...
Do my job, students.
To play this pitch,
Just pay it. Just pay it, Trey. Just pay it. Sorry, that got me.
A trumpet played it, then I ask an oboe to play it. The sound would be very different. Why is that the case?
Partials.
Different overtones. Well, actually, they all have the same overtones in a way. The same frequencies would sound, but you've got it. Which partials are particularly prominent, have extra punch or extra volume to it? Is it the oboe may have the seventh partial very strong and the third partial very strong, whereas the trumpet, I'm just making all of this up, of course, the trumpet may have the second partial.
Love hearing that in a lecture.
Fourth partial and the sixth partial. So it's which of these partials are sounding within each of these instruments, and the physical properties of each of these instruments are different. It's the particular blend. Here's a really dumb analogy. Any scotch drinkers in here? No, of course not. You're way too young.
What? Dude, what a crazy. I use that same one when I'm teaching children. Hey, you ever smoke any of your mom's cigarettes? I have an analogy.
Think about a blended scotch. You know, you'll get a little of this, little of this, little of this, and it makes up whatever it is that you end up with, a particular recipe for that liquid. Well, we have a particular recipe for instrumental timbre or instrumental color.
You might have had a little bit of scotch throwing out analogies like that. Oh, man.
Now, we're going to go on and talk about a woodwind instrument here. So, Linda, come on up. Linda is a bassoonist. She's also, this is Linda Paul.
Let's see if she mans the oboe a little better than her computer skills. Am I right, guys? She's always screwing up the playback.
TA's here. She is a PhD candidate in the Department of Music, just passed her qualifying exam with...
Dude, that oboe is massive.
...in color, so here she is to demonstrate the bassoon for us.
Oh, the bassoon. Excuse me. Gee, I need to be taking this class. I don't care about any of these instruments. But that thing is massive. Oh my god. That is like a bully magnet. Are you kidding me?
Member of the woodwind family.
Right, so you probably read in the book that the bassoon is a double reed instrument. And so just to show you what that looks like.
Yeah, you probably read that. You think anybody read that? I don't think so.
You've probably seen it, but if you haven't, two pieces of wood vibrate together when I blow through them.
Yay, that's fun. That's like a party.
Check it out before I play any notes. And as you will probably suspect by the length of the bassoon, it can play very low notes. And if I put a little rag in the top, I can get it even a little bit lower than that.
Okay.
But actually, amazingly, it's a very versatile instrument. It can also play very high notes. As you can see, there are a lot of keys on it. There are 9 keys for my left thumb alone. So I'm kind of switching between these on the back here and many others. And because of that, I can go very high, and I'll just demonstrate that. Particular character of the bassoon sound, it's often used to play sort of funny little low note characters in the orchestra.
God, isn't that unfortunate? That's the instrument you picked? The one that represents funny characters?
If you're familiar with Peter and the Wolf, the different instruments play different characters.
Does the bassoon play some mangy, like, redneck raccoon or something?
Is the grandfather.
Oh, the grandfather, alright. Dude, I can't count with that. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. That's really fun.
It's really fun. That was really funny to hear.
Jacob Adams is a professional violist here in New Haven. What's the name of your quartet, Jacob? The Vinca String Quartet. So keep an eye out for them. They're based here in New Haven. So come on out, Jacob.
There we go.
And he is a violist, not a violinist, but the
Yep, we couldn't get a violinist in today. So we got the next best thing, viola, of course.
principle here is pretty much the same.
Hey, he didn't have a gig. He can stay here all day. He's fine.
So tell us about the construction of the instrument.
Okay, so obviously we've now seen a little bit of the brass family and the woodwind family, and the other principal section of the orchestra would obviously be the string family.
Yeah, let's get some string talk up in here. I feel like strings are just the real instruments, you know? Like, what you hear is represented pretty clearly on strings. You don't have to blow through harmonics through a tube or anything. What you see is what you get. It's perfect.
The viola is very similar to the violin, so anything I say about the viola applies to the violin as well. And of course you all
Yeah, alright.
Probably familiar with violins and the side.
He's like, I'm sure you guys are familiar with all the viola jokes started by two-set violin. My life and prospects has been seriously damaged by all those jokes. I really don't like those jokes. No, in all seriousness, it's the violists who get jobs, I'm pretty sure. Because usually everyone picks violin, and it's extremely competitive, because, like, you know, violin music. I don't think viola music is quite as competitive. I'm pretty sure you can just play at, like, a decent level and just get hired. So, you know, we make jokes about viola. The real hard life is being a guitarist. No orchestra jobs, no nothing. Don't even get me started on electric guitarists. What are you gonna do as an electric guitarist? What can even be done then? Can't get a degree in it, really? Like, unless you're playing jazz or something. There's certainly no orchestra jobs unless you make them yourself, like Yngwie Malmsteen style. And all the music for it sucks. So, dang, that's a rough one. Excluding jazz, electric guitar is like the viola of guitars. Boom, I'm saying it. Alright.
Bow is made out of typically horsehair from the tails of horses. The strings are now metallic, but 16th, 17th, 18th century, they would have been made out of catgut. That was much more common, and still some people...
Okay. So, I'm sorry, I got lots of things going.
Yeah, could you stop being gross? Can we move this along, please?
I want to hear this more. So just play a scale quickly, and then the vibrato.
Oh, dude, he was talking a little long. He was yapping a little too long there for him. He's like, can you just play? Just shut up and play.
Pizzicato and tremolo for us.
So again, this is on a viola, so it has a deeper...
Hey, zip it, just play.
...timbre than a violin, but here's a scale.
Wow, you did something there at the end. Do you have too much coffee this morning? You started shaking away there. Yeah. So tell us about what you were doing there at the end.
So there are all sorts of different little technique things you can do to create different colors and sounds on all string instruments. So
hey, in 5 words, explain what you just did.
One of them.
We're on a time budget
the
here.
Technique you saw me do with my left hand, where I wiggled it a little bit. It's called vibrato. You hear it in human voices as well.
It's called vibrato, not vibrato. Vibrato.
You can do it on other instruments, but on a string instrument, it's the difference. I'll play a melody without vibrato and with vibrato.
Ooh, this guy loves chatting. Oh, man. And I know you guys are going to say, no, you love chatting. You are the main yapper in this. Well, guess what? It's my YouTube channel. This ain't his show. He's yapping on someone else's dime right now. I can feel the tension in the room. Sick. Thanks for picking that melody. That's a good one.
Vibrato. Not that interesting, in my opinion. So
I don't know. It was fine. The unspoken nice thing about vibrato, too, is it helps you tune, because it gives you some momentum to slide your fingers around. I used to use that a lot when I played cello. I was pretty bad at cello. Sick.
Okay, and then just quickly play a pizzicato for us.
Wow, violist practices arpeggios. I don't even think you really need those, right?
Okay, and then finally tremolo.
All right. So we got that. I'm glad that we're learning all these instruments.
All right, great. Thank you, Jacob. What I wanted to show you was a clip that actually my daughter brought to my attention. She was watching television.
It was just like keeping up with the Kardashians or something. I found this clip very compelling.
America Has Talent.
America Has Talent? I don't know.
Anybody watch this? America Has Talent?
Is anybody watching this crap?
And she said, Dad, you've got to watch this. This is the most amazing thing. They've got these 2 guys on here called Nuttin' But Strings. So I did.
Nuttin' But Strings. Oh, man. Nobody listened to that violist quartet. We all need to look up Nuttin' But Strings.
And I went to, she sent me the link to YouTube here. Now let's see if we can get this to go. I don't know.
Am I gonna get a copyright strike for this? Go. I love hearing that in my classical music. Wow, I hate it. I hate it so much. That freaking Lindsey Sterling. I bet they're dancing to it too. Oh, it's so lame. When it comes to certain genres, guitar is just so ahead of violin. Because if there was ever an America's Got Talent, and somebody came out with a guitar playing melodies like that, just playing like... Like, if somebody came out with a guitar playing that, they would just be laughed off the stage. Like, nobody would ever respect that. But on a violin, they're so behind, you're just so not used to hearing that crappy pentatonic soloing sound that, you know, you get stuff like this in Lindsey Stirling. And it's fine. It's like, you know, like all things, I say the same thing about Marson. It's an introduction to the timbre of the instrument. And the timbre is enough to make the music interesting and get the listener used to hearing that. And then later in their life, they'll hear actual good music with that timbre and they'll be like, whoa, this is it right here. That other stuff was crap. But yeah, this is a thing. God, that's so lame. That's so lame. I hate it.
So obviously the violin is
yeah, dude, I know.
not just this dodgy old thing from the Renaissance. It has some legs today. Used in folk music, used in, sometimes you see it in Nashville playing with country music, that kind of thing.
I'll take it with that stuff. That's a whole different instrument. That's the fiddle. That ain't the violin. What you just heard there is a violin, and it's an abomination.
Is this a travesty to use a violin with?
Yeah, of course it is. But it's an inevitable travesty. You know, with the young generation, they're just going to take beauty and they're just going to stomp on it. And that's just a fact of life. It's so much easier to destroy than it is to create. I sound like I'm insane right now. No, of course it's not a travesty. It's fine. For all the reasons I just explained. And even beyond those reasons. Because of course it's good for introducing people to classical music with the instruments that play classical music. It's also fine if it doesn't do that. Because it's also, and this is crazy that I'm saying this, but it's also just people having fun with music. That music can be complex or of a style, or even mimicking a style but in an uninformed way. And it can also be insanely complex and extremely informed. Really, the important thing is that you're having fun. It sounds like they're having fun, I guess. What would be sad, and I'll actually tell you a true story here, is if they weren't having fun and playing that music and they were doing it because they had to for a job or something, because they just knew that that would get famous. That's sad. That's a travesty, because then you're just doing soulless work at that point. I had an experience like this because I went on a cruise a couple of years ago, which is a horrible idea. Never go on a cruise. They're so stupid. But I went on one, and there was a quartet on the cruise ship, just one of many bands that were there, and they were clearly college educated. They met each other in college. I think they even talked about it because I would just listen in on them. They were playing like out in the open a lot of the time, and they were just playing these pop arrangements, and it sucked so bad. Like, not them as musicians, just the music they were playing versus what I know they could play. It would be so amazing if on this cruise ship they were just playing some quartets, like some Beethoven quartets or something. Like, I would be watching that the whole time. I wouldn't be doing anything else. But instead, they were just playing, like, I don't even know what at this time. Like, that's how forgettable it was. I don't even remember what music they were playing. It was pop music of 3 years ago, which is like, what even was that? Let me see what the charts were. Top 40, it was probably July of 2022. About Darn Time, Lizzo. Yeah, probably. Jack Harlow, First Class. Let me hear these. God, this music is so fast. It just disappears without a trace. Like, I don't even remember this. First Class? I can't believe Jack Harlow's First Class was number 2. That song sucks. Are you kidding me? Go and listen to that. Just someone else's song and him just, like, talking over it. What? And I'm not saying talking as in, like, I'm anti-rap, because I'm not. There's tons of excellent rap music out there. This is not an example of it, though. Yeah, that sounds fine. I've been throw up the sex in Yeah, that sucks. Oh god, Bones, Imagine Dragons. I remember I was teaching at this time. I had a couple students ask to learn this, and it was like the worst crap ever. Heat Waves, Glass Animals, that was a popular one. Kids wanted to learn that one too. Yeah, most of these I don't remember. Dang, that's crazy. So anyways, what was I saying? Just they were playing top 40 stuff and it sucked. Oh yeah, my point with that. That's not even a tragedy either, but in that case in particular, it was a tragedy, because I know that they didn't want to be playing that, but that was the only way they could get their cruise ship gig. Alright, moving on.
Pop here, I guess this is hip-hop. Of course not. This is wonderful. This is the best thing that has happened to the violin in the last 100 years.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's alright.
Be millions of kids out there now say, gee, I'd like to learn to play the violin too. So this is wonderful, this sort of cross.
No, it is. He's right. This is all basically what I said. I said this about Marson, I said this about this too. It is true. It's sad, though, that kid's going to learn violin and then they're going to fall in love with real violin music, and then they're going to realize the only marketable skill they have is being able to play crappy pop music on cruise ships. That or make a reaction YouTube channel. Which, I make fun of what I do here. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about the stuff that I do here. But I can see how this wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea. I'm lucky that I actually enjoy this. I mean, I must enjoy it. Like, there's just the amount that I've done it. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be too grim over here. So, we learned about some new instruments. I know this might be a lot for you guys if you're, you know, whatever. So, I plan on going through all of these now, and we've kind of completed the introduction to it. So, hopefully you guys feel ready. Let me know if you have any questions about anything, and let's go ahead and wrap this up here. So, of course, you know, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. Want some guitar lessons? I'm not taking new students, but feel free to email me, of course. Head on down over to Ruins Live for some merch. Member section, Patreon. Catch me live streaming. I haven't live streamed in a few days. It's because I'm busy moving right now, but I will be back to that soon. And yeah, alright. I'll see you in the next one.